And welcome welcome Bark, welcome back to I think we're on part 9 now of, making sure that's not gonna rear its ugly head. Part 9 of What If Dragon Ball Super version of Broly went to Earth. So last time, Majin arc got taken out really quick, got dealt with really quickly. Now, I did have some people just ask the question about, like his cell strength. Would he need the answer? That was actually a conversation. I gave an answer on that, but I think I should go more in depth on the answer. Is that why Cell needed the androids if he could just go into his perfect form when he blew up? But you have to factor in a few things here. One, Cell blew himself up not thinking he was going to survive and then lucked out. He also has Saiyan DNA in him, which means he gets the Zenkai, which is more than likely why he was able to return to that form. The Zenkai was so huge, and he not only was able to return to his perfect form, but he was able to gain more power, which is why he was actually able to injure Super Saiyan 2 Gohan at that point. And C, and this is the one this is the argument I raised in my comment. If he didn't need the androids to reach a perfect form, then he wouldn't have um bothered chasing after them to begin with. It's clear he needed the androids. I think what it is more than anything else is that he initially needed the androids to reach that perfect form. But after he had obtained the androids and reached that form, it's like a genetic memory thing. His body remembered the power, and remembered the form. So when he was regenerating himself, it took that form. That's where I think that came from. Someone did bring up the idea of Majin Cell, and honestly, I didn't actually consider that idea. It's not the worst idea in the world I could have used. Maybe at another point in time we'll get a Majin Cell and a different What If. That's really not a bad idea. I just felt that Cell probably wouldn't have realized the androids were gone at that point, so he was looking for them, and yeah, and that's why um, he ran into Gohan and eventually got his curb stomped. But anyway, so Babidi was taken care of. Majin Buu was taken care of. Now we kind of deal with the aftermath, the whole Dragon Ball Super Battle of the Gods arc. Now, keep in mind, there is no training on King Kai in this version, or training on King Kai's planet in this version. So there isn't any, there isn't any, you know, Goku challenging Beerus and then going to Earth. It's just Beerus meeting King Kai and then going to Earth, where they're all having Bulma's a birthday party, everyone's happy. No, people keep asking me, oh, pair Vegeta with this, pair Nappa with that, pair Raditz with this. Now, if I remember correctly, I do believe Raditz got paired up with Launch because I had a meter. At this point, anyone that they're with aren't going to be playing a big factor in the story. So screw it. Yeah, sure. Vegeta's is married to Tights, and then Nappa is, because Nappa was also an older Saiyan, I think he's just kind of happy being single. Maybe he gets a girl every now and then. Sure, I mean he's probably not a bad looking guy or anything like that, but he's perfectly content. Like Paragus, kind of more helping the next generation of Saiyans. But everyone's celebrating Bulma's birthday, yay! And obviously then Beerus shows up. Oh, so this is the planet they're on. They seem to be having some sort of celebration, Whis. It's like, indeed, Lord Beerus, it seems to be someone's birthday. Birthday? Ugh, I can't. That reminds me, when was the last time my birthday? We had celebrated my birthday, Whis. They see, look at this, look at all the spread and celebration. Oh my! And then, it's like, and Bulma's like, who are you? It's like, and Vegeta and I don't think Raditz would recognize, although Nappa and Vegeta would, particularly Vegeta or Nappa, would be old enough to recognize Beerus. We know Vegeta knew who Beerus was. Nappa's actually much older than Vegeta is, so it's very likely he also knew of Beerus in passing. It's because he wasn't like King Vegeta. He wasn't the head of the head of everyone, but it's very likely he knew of Beerus. The name Beerus rings a bell, and then Vegeta reminds like, oh crap. Paragus and Broly and Goku and Raditz, I don't think they know who Beerus is. I don't think that. But Paragus, was he around long enough and could have seen Beerus show up long enough, or to have seen Beerus show up and get an idea who he is? I'm gonna guess no. Probably not. Because I don't believe they ever gave an implication in Dragon Ball Super that he was aware of who Beerus was. In the movie, that is. So I'm going to say that it's Vegeta, it's Nappa, and they're really the only ones who know who it is. And they quickly like kind of spread the word around. Like they make sure to tell Raz and Paragus who this guy is. It's this little Beerus. We must. He could destroy this planet with a breath. And they're freaking out. It's like Goku was like, I've never seen. What's wrong with Vegeta? Even Broly's like, I don't know. He's not usually this. He's squirrely. And it's like, here, try that. They're like, here, try this. And they give the pastry guys like, oh no, if he gets the one with the wasabi, there's a mollusk in this, delicious. Because honestly, truth be told, as much as Beerus is a very arrogant guy, at the same time, if we're dealing with like a food with a party spread or anything like that, I imagine Beerus would actually be kind of a fun guy to hang around with when he's in a good mood, enjoying food. You can just enjoy food, trade tips, stuff. I could actually have a think of having a fun time with Beerus in the right setting. And Whis, definitely with Whis, yeah. But yeah, anyway. So eventually we get to the whole issue about the pudding. Well, there's no Boo here, so the issue is moot. The Beerus gets his pudding, and he's probably like, oh, pudding, it's so moist, sweet, and nourished. Like he's pretty much like having an orgasm on the spot. But eventually it's like the party starts and does like, well, this has been fun, but now time for business, Whis. We're here because I had a premonition about a Super Saiyan God, and that would rise and challenge me. A Super Saiyan God? It's like, wait, who are you again? You're not aware of who I am? This is Lord Beerus. He's the destroyer of the seventh universe. We wouldn't be able to match him no matter how hard we tried. He could wipe this planet away with just a thought if he wanted to. It's like, really? Why? You're that strong? Indeed, I am the strongest. I am the strongest warrior of this universe, Saiyan, and I'm looking for my future rival. Tell me, are you this possible Super Saiyan God? Well, I mean, we're all Super Saiyans and we can go Super Saiyan, but none of us are really a Super Saiyan God. I can't say I've ever really heard of one. Oh, pity. But we have the Dragon Balls. It's like we could easily figure it out. That's the thing. I think because they got enough level-headed individuals there that they stopped Goku for challenging him right off the bat. And Broly just like, oh, we could use the Dragon Balls to learn about it. It's like, Dragon Balls, you say? Not a bad head this one has on his shoulders. Very well. And they get the dragon. It's like, oh, Lord Beerus, it's good to see you. I don't mean to look down at you. It's just, my size. Which I do enjoy that. Anyway, I do enjoy that little joke. And then he explains the Super Saiyan God ritual. Now, luckily here, we got Gohan, we got Goten, we got Goku, we got Vegeta, we got Trunks. We got, Goku, Gohan, Goten, Broly, Trunks, Vegeta, Nappa, Paragus, Raditz, and possibly any kid that, I haven't actually given them any children at this point, but they could have some kids at this point, at some point. That's 9 Saiyans right there. They don't need the whole Videl's pregnant thing. By the by, someone did bring up an interesting idea that it wouldn't be Videl maybe Gohan winds up with. It would be, oh god, I can't remember the blonde hair girl's name, but she seemed to actually have a general interest in Gohan. Although I feel like Videl would still be on the suspicious side of Gohan, so I feel like she would eventually try to learn more about him because Videl had an ego on her. She thought she was hotter shit than she was. I do think Videl and Gohan are still the ones who wind up together. But either way, so they go, okay, we got enough Saiyans for it, then who gets to be the god? I should be the god. I am the prince after all. Please, Vegeta, no more of this. That was over decades ago. We don't need any more of this Saiyan pride nonsense. I think it should probably go either to Kakarot or Broly. Please, besides, it doesn't mean we can't do. None of us can, or we can all do the same. We can all do this ritual again at some point, and then, because really, I'm like, when you think about it, any one of them could have just basically, they could have just literally made every one of them a god if they wanted to. When you think about it. Yes, I suppose. That's fine. You always get to have the fun, Kakarot. All right. And I think they allow Goku, but they also agree, like, fine, well, but I get to be the next one. Well, then Broly's like, fine, I'll get the next one. And it's like, Rad's like, well, I'm not falling behind between you jokers. I'll be the next one after that. Um, and so everyone, does the guy. And then you have the fight between Goku and Beerus, which ultimately goes roughly the same, although, even though it's a patchwork kind of thing, I think because Goku is, well, Goku's actually, I mean, Goku's stronger because he ultimately has hit Super Saiyan 3 at this point, but it's one of those things where he's stronger because he's been training with Broly for so long that his base is just that much higher. It's not the fact that, in fact, even if he hadn't hit Super Saiyan 3, he might arguably still be stronger at this point in the timeline than like his canon Super Saiyan 3 because his base is much higher. But so their fight goes about the same. Fortunately, it ends without Beerus threatening the planet because there's been nothing to just raise Beerus's anger up to the point where it's like, okay, I'm blowing off the planet. No, my Beerus went into Vegeta for a second. Oh, very well, I'm blowing off the planet. There's a subtle difference. I mean, you can hear the similarities, but there is a difference between Beerus and Vegeta when you listen to him. But Lord Vegeta there's a bit more of a horse in his mouth when he talks, whereas Lord Beerus is a bit more sophisticated and has a bit more gravitas to his voice. I almost put an accent in there, but so be it. Anyway. So that fight ends, and, it ends with Goku losing, but, Beerus says, I must admit, I haven't had a good fight like that in some time. I think it ends much more on a more friendly basis, because that's really what Beerus, he was looking for, the challenge, and he got a good little fight out of Goku. Granted, we know from the series that he was barely using any of his power. Like, he was not using a huge amount of his power at all. I was like, even though, because in the movie, he said he was going about 70%, but we know that's not the case because if you factor Super Saiyan Blue and then Kaioken, and even using Kaioken times 10, he said he could easily handle Goku, though he was surprised by the amount of power he got from it. It's clear that that's not the case. It was a lie. It was a lie. And that's fine because I think it's important that Beerus kind of stays stronger overall than Goku. Even because we're still not at the end of where we hit Z at the end of the series in the original series, because that's after like 10 years of peace. We still got time in Super to deal with that. So ultimately, yeah, it's one of those things where Beerus, I think, needs to be the stronger, but and even if he's still more powerful than he is in the canon with Goku, Beerus is still going to win the fight, no problem. But the difference here is there's no real anger to Beerus in this, or real, messing around. It's like, I thank you for this challenge, and this planet is quite interesting, raising many formidable warriors. Should I assume? And he looks at Broly, and so I assume several of you will also try to use the ritual to gain power. It's like, ugh. Of course, and Rads and Broly, like, of course, but Vegeta, I think, actually is a little more just like, no, I'll achieve it on my own. Because even though I think he, I said it twice, even though he kind of said, next time I get to do it in the original, and in this, remember, he ultimately learned it on his own. So he's probably going to still find his own way to do it. But Rads and Broly are like, of course. It's like, of course, we can't let Kakarot fall behind on us. Or we can't fall behind Kakarot so far. And so later on, after they leave, they do the ritual as well, gain God Ki. And so now it's a matter of training with the God Ki on their own, which they don't really know how to really do, because Goku didn't really know how to do it either. But they try their best to do it, and they kind of train a little bit, and they're making some mild progress. But ultimately, Vegeta confronts Whis, goes to train, and then ultimately Whis contacts all four of them, Goku, Broly, and Raditz, and goes off. Now, why didn't Gohan take the Super Saiyan God? Well, unfortunately, Gohan in this version, while he's pretty strong, is just he's not. So I don't think this version of Gohan really cares about it. Hell, I don't think the canon version of Gohan cared about it that much. He just wasn't really a Taylor wanting to fight for a while. As for like Paragus and Nappa, I feel like they're too old, and there's no way they're entrusting the kids with God Ki. So yeah, it's the big four you get are Vegeta, Raditz, Broly, and Goku. But they all go training. They all go training no more. And the question is, do you get Resurrection F in this version? I actually don't think you do. And the reason for that is there's still enough there's still enough. I don't think there's enough, I should say, of Frieza's forces left in this version because Frieza brought a large amount of his forces along with King Cold to Earth, and they all got just wasted. So I actually don't think you get a Resurrection F scenario in this. But what you do still get is a Universal 6 tournament, and that gives you Raditz, Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, all of whom are Saiyans, and then you get Monaka. So Kakarot goes first, beats Botamo, Frost cheats. So then I think Radz goes to avenge his brother. Because he's a bit more cautious than I think Goku was. I think he does figure out Frost is cheating, and ultimately beats his ass. Then there was the Magerta fight. And that I think is basically Raditz struggling very hard, and ultimately I think he gets taken down. Goku gets reinstated. Then you get Vegeta beating up Magerta. Then you get Kaba and Vegeta. And I think Vegeta definitely gives the whole mentor vibe to Kaba. And then you get Hit. Hit beats Vegeta down pretty easy, as we saw. And then you get Broly versus Hit. Now this one is a bit unique, because Broly is obviously naturally a bit stronger than Goku because of the way his biology worked. And he immediately goes into Super Saiyan. And because he's now got Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, it's kind of put his Berserker Rage legendary form on the back burner and given him something else to focus on, which has helped hone his mind a bit. But obviously, there's a problem here. We've now added God Ki onto Broly. And Broly's still got that genetic rage disposition. So we may have a problem down the line, folks. Because I'll be honest, I was hoping maybe to finish it off in this video, but it's clear we're going to have to finish it off in the next video. But we will finish this series off in the next video. But anyway, Broly they suggest Broly maybe go last because he's already seen Goku fight. But Goku's like, nah, man, I want to have the last crack at him. And Broly's like, whatever. So Broly immediately goes into Super Saiyan Blue because he realizes, like, okay, Vegeta lost Super Saiyan Blue. I got to do this. And Vegeta can immediately tell, this guy's stronger. It would be cool to see that Broly spiky hair in blue. It would. So Broly, power up, and they're immediately going toe-to-toe. And can't immediately keep up with Broly. Broly's able to bypass the time skip a little bit. Because that's the thing. We saw that Goku was able to overcome the time skip with sheer speed, force, and power. So Broly comes and he immediately, lands a good shot on Hit. And now they're kind of duking out back and forth, which is forcing Hit to do the actual improvement. That, just straight improvement within a, small amount of time. And, Broly, though, we know also improves. And they're just kind of going back and forth. Ultimately, Broly's power is proving a bit too much for Hit. But Hit ultimately actually has to pull out one of the moves he didn't think he'd have to, where he basically, goes intangible, basically hides in like a dimension of time, basically. And is what he did. And basically kind of goes intangible. Like, what? I didn't think I'd actually have to use this technique. And you're not going to be able to touch me in this while I'm like this. But that means you won't be able to touch me either. And so you're gonna have to release it at some point. It's true, but for the moment, and then just boom, it does an invincible energy blast. I don't have to, but for the moment, I don't have to hit you at all. And now Broly's on the background, but he's trying to sense that, and he's getting more and more angry. Just like, it's like, darn it! And again, Hit just keeps hitting him in the vital points, and Broly's starting to go down, but he's getting angrier and angrier. And all of a sudden, his blue hair is kind of going more greenish, almost like a weird aquamarine turquoise. And it's starting to float a bit more and like getting thicker and wavier. And he's just like, "Ugh." It's like, I've had enough about this. And he just starts, and he's just kind of starting to lose his cool. And he's like, Broly. Oh God, what's wrong with him? It appears he's got an untapped power we haven't seen before, Lord Beerus. And it seems it seems to be pouring out of him uncontrollably. That idiot! He's gonna get it. He's gonna get us. He's gonna get us expelled from the tournament. And Pitch is like, and Broly finally just. Now Broly isn't lost to rage yet, but he's now very pissed off. Just boom, just crashing in. Just stand still. And again, he's faster now too, and now Hitch is like, oh crap, and finally just kind of does the whole thing where he binds him in a cage of time, like he has no choice here, and it's like that's enough, and basically just hoists him out of the ring, and Broly finally just gets hoisted out of the ring, and he's huffing, he's puffing, Hit's tired now because he had to do something that he didn't want to do. Now, granted, he's got plenty more time stored up. Because this is over thousands of years he's probably been storing this time because we know he's over 1,000 years old. And Broly's like, but he's able to he's finally able to calm down. He's not at that point where he's lost his control yet. Just thanks to all the training he's done over the years. Just, damn it. It's like, it's okay. It's Broly. It's all right, man. It's okay. Kakarot, sorry. It's like, but man, what was going on there? Your power was going nuts. And he comments like, yeah, it's something I've kind of put off to the side. I was training with power for a while, but then we learned God Key and was able to find a new source for power. Now I think I'm gonna have to do some more training. So that was dangerous, son. You need to be more careful. Well, I haven't seen you get that crazy since the fight with Frieza. Sorry, Dad. And it just gives him a nod. It's like, as long as you understand. And so Goku goes in. Now, Hit's already kind of tired out, but Goku would want to fight him at his best. But, he knows they sought the fight. Otherwise, they're going to lose their planet. So, ultimately, Goku and Hit go. And Goku, I think, actually ultimately wins the fight using Kaio. Oh, no, he doesn't have Kaioken, but using Super Saiyan Blue. And just being at, full, peak performance at this point where his Hit is tired out. I mean, this will lead to Goku, I think, hiring Hit later on to use, to try to kill him for, fight him at his best. But ultimately, as it stands, yeah, Goku, they ultimately win fair and square, actually, in the fight for the Universe 6 tournament. So that will lead us into the Goku Black arc, or, as it is as we kind of see, the Broly Black. I think it's actually going to be the Broly Black arc, because even though the universes are different, we know that the timeline that Zamasu was looking at is the canon timeline that we were looking at. So he's probably looking at more at Goku and Broly. He probably sees Broly and sees that as probably the best potential he has to go with. So it's going to be the Broly Black arc that we get next, then leading into Tournament of Power, and that will ultimately be the end of this What If. So, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, who wants to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. And I'll see you folks next time. I've still got to pre-record my what if and who would win for tomorrow. And I'm still wondering if I want to do a Pokemon video today or a Magic video. I'll consider it. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.